first off, we're going to be going over Detroit beats, and Detroit beats generally have an up-tempo feel, somewhere around 90 to 100 BPM, a faster piano, synth bass pattern, longer 808s, orchestral sounds like tubular bells, strings, etc., and normal trap drums. The first thing I'm going to do to make this Detroit style beat is get a piano out of Nexus. This piano right here, the Arena Ambience, is usually one used a lot in Detroit beats. I'm going to put my tempo to like 96, yep. Go to my magnet and click on step. And I'm going to go into my grid, scale highlighting. Go to minor natural. I'm gonna go to F sharp minor, and we're just gonna start laying down a pattern. When you do this, you want to make sure that you are using these notes in the scale right next to each other to create darkness. What I did right there was used Control B to copy these over after I highlighted over them with Control. What I'm going to do here is do Alt R to randomize the velocity. When you first pop it up, it's going to probably pop up as the pattern. Just click out of that and click the drop down menu and mess with your velocity knob. I'm going to do mine right around here. Mess with the seat a little bit. And press accept. Next thing I'm going to do is go into Nexus again, and I'm going to get the same piano again. I'm going to create chords. I'm going to go down to the 4th octave and create a minor chord. Now how you do this is you skip every other note in the scale. So I'm going to go to F sharp and A, skip this B right here, and go to C sharp. And then all you have to do to create a dark vibe is I'm going to highlight this over with Control, hold Shift, and drag this out and kind of create a bounce with it and move this middle note to either the B or the G sharp. Either of these middle notes will work. I'm going to copy that same thing right here, skip one, use this middle note right here and do it again. I'm going to move this up right here. You could also use these for top notes. You could really use anything in the scale, really. Just utilize what you have in the scale. Move that over. I'm going to move this middle note actually up to here. Sounds good. I'm going to hold right click from the 3 up here and drag over to the 1 and then do Control B. I'm also going to randomize the velocities by doing Alt R again and then messing with the knob. Now I'm going to get another piano, probably out of Nexus again. I'm going to clone it. And I'm going to get the delayed piano and take off the reverb and delay. And I'm going to lay down a bass piano. So I'm going to start on F. I'm going to make my velocity max. With this, I'm going to hold Control and then left click over this, and I'm going to hold Alt, scroll my scroll wheel up. Now, any of these, like I said, any of these tension notes work in the scale. The notes right next to each other. I'm going to show that right here. See? I'm going to make some kind of pattern. octave using control down arrow, and usually when you get these bass pianos in the second octave, it sounds a lot better. To SRX Orchestra. I'm going to get some strings. I'm going to go into real strings because I really like how they sound. And again, when I make this pattern, we use the 6th octave. Utilize these tension notes right next to each other. Easy as that. I'm going to randomize the velocities again by doing Alt R, since it's already preset. Pretty much good. Probably the part everybody was waiting for when I was talking about Detroit beats, the synth bass. I'm going to go into Purity. I'm going to go to Rezo TV1 right here. I'm going to lay down a pattern following this bass pattern. I'm going to control over this, use my scroll wheel to bring this down. The velocity, Alt scroll wheel. Control up arrow to bring this up an octave, and the 3rd and 4th octaves really sound good. You just kind of have to do it by ear. I think the 3rd sounds good for this one. Clone this first nexus and throw down a vocal pad. I'm going to go into voice and go to classical choir 1. I'm going to make chords with this, kind of following my other chords. So I'm going to go to my channel with the chords, click on this rectangle, do Control C, and then click on this rectangle, do Control V. And I'm going to elongate these notes by doing Control L. I'm going to do Control Up arrow just to see. I'm going to play around with the octaves, doing Control Up and Down arrow. Kits, and I'm going to be using the Everyone in 808 Mafia Shows Screen kit. If you look up Lunch 77 on Reddit, you'll definitely find this kit, because that's where I found it. I'm gonna go into the extra section and throw down a tubular bell. This is my favorite tubular bell that I've ever used, honestly. This tubular bell sounds sick. I'm just gonna follow the bass notes right here. Control up arrow 3 times to put it in the 5th octave. I'm going to transpose this melody. I'm going to double click on the rectangles and I'm going to see what octaves this sounds good in. I'm going to click on this arrow and do transpose right here. I'm just gonna do 1. If you want to go down 1, you do -1, but I'm gonna go up 1 and do just 1. I'm gonna do it one more time. Now for Detroit beats, they generally have general trap drums, so long 808s, just a normal snare, normal trap drums, you know, trappy hi-hats, OpenHats, minimal percs. That's what I'm gonna be doing right now. I'm gonna get a snare. Good tip on your hi-hats, you can use the out knob to kind of tighten them. I'm gonna play around in the piano roll and make some rolls. I'm gonna do Shift D to snap them to the grid, or snap them to the grid size, and then I'm gonna go up to the magnet and do 1/4 step. I'm gonna do Control D again to snap it to the grid size, and I'm going to just play around and do some rolls between. Delete all this over here, go to the 3, make sure it's all halfway with right click. I'm going to drag over there and then do Control B to copy this over, and I'm also going to do Alt R to give the hi-hat some bounce. I'm going to use my velocity knob, turn it to about there, click on the seat a couple times, and then accept. Instead of these vocals right here, I actually am probably going to switch this to a string. I'm going to go into SRX, and I'm actually going to go to real. That's exactly the preset I was going to go to, is real strings. It just kind of creates some like tenseness in the melody. I'm going to put this down an octave by doing Control down arrow. I'm also going to copy this bass pattern down here, put my magnet to step, Control up arrow, Alt R, Control up arrow, put it up an octave. beats, both Flint and Detroit, is the Spins 808. Everybody should know about this one, but you can find it in any kit. Make sure you got cut itself, and then play with the envelope and put it all down besides hold all the way up. Everything else down, hold all the way up. And make sure you're following the bass pattern. Control up arrow 3 times, put it in the 5th octave, and then do Control L to elongate the notes. I'm also going to do Control A and then use Alt and scroll wheel up to make the velocities higher. Sub bass for right now, just so it's not clashing and it don't sound bad. I'm also going to layer this with a kick. The rack kick usually sounds really good with the Spins 808, so I'm going to use that. I'm also going to turn up the velocity on these kicks, hold Control, drag over them, and do Alt to scroll wheel up. I'm going to add a 3rd one right there. I'll highlight over it with Control and do scroll wheel up. To make the kick hit harder. That's using shift up and down arrow to do a semitone. Some perk to add. Probably like a rim of some sort. I like this perk right here. Place it wherever you find necessary. I usually find like right here. click one of these rectangles, go into my mixer, and go to Control Shift L. Highlight all of these. Scroll down. I'm going to gradually level just so they're at the right level. Kicks, make sure you merge them 100% with this knob right here, and the 808s as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo each of these tracks using Control and left click. I'm going to throw an EQ on there. Usually I just EQ it with my preset, but if not, you just go to 40 hertz plus 18 kilohertz cut, and it should be the same thing. This right here, I just have a preset made. This is kind of by ear. You kind of just cut out all the unnecessary frequencies it's sitting in. Now you don't have to EQ all your drums. They honestly, if you get them from the 177 kit, they're gonna be pre-tuned. So, or pre-mixed, not pre-tuned. But you shouldn't have to mess with any of these. They should be straight. Let's click out of there, and to arrange this, we do right click and we go split by channel, and we do shift at the top and then shift at the bottom, drag this on, and we do Control B to duplicate it over. Roll out, and now what we're going to do is arrange this. So we should take out all of our drums at first. Definitely take out the fast piano, take out the top string, take out the bells and the synth bass. I'm gonna click this. I'm going to do again is I'm going to take out more hyper elements out of the start of the verse. What I'm first going to do is I'm just going to let the drums kind of play. I have the bell and the fast piano coming, as well as the kick and the spin. Going to take out the drums and the synth bass besides the 808 and kick, or I'm going to take out this snare and the hi-hats actually. To highlight over this excess stuff and just delete it with Control X. I'm gonna hold Control, drag over this, and then do Control B 3 times. And this should be your layout. Let's take a listen. Sounded good right there. The last thing you should do is add your tag.
Damn, Donnie made this.
Just to the beginning or like wherever you put it. That's basically the beat. Your tag, routing, route selected track.
Damn, Donnie made this.
Should be good to go. That's basically the beat right there. So now for the moment you guys have been waiting for. What is the difference between a Detroit and Flint type beat? I'm going to make a Flint type beat. Generally the Flint type beats are still up tempo around 90 to 100 BPM. If you're in double time, then that's 180 to 200. They usually consist of a halftime piano. Now the main key that makes the Flint sound really sound is the drums. They have short punchy 808s with high pitch snares, claps, or rims. They have really experimental like sounds, and the bell pattern is a lot more active than the Detroit beats are. Let's get into this. I'm going to set my tempo to 99. Going to go into Nexus again, and I'm going to get a piano. I'm going to get arena ambience again like I did the last time, but automatically I'm going to do I'm going to left click on this triangle. I'm going to go into my mixer, and I'm going to route it doing Control L. I'm going to go into slot 1. I'm going to go into gross beat. I'm I'm gonna go into presets, go to momentary, go to half speed, and make sure that these trig sync and post sync are on 4 beats so it doesn't skip. And I'm going to lay down my piano pattern. Again, I'm going to be using F sharp minor just to make it easier because I used it in the last tutorial. Make sure to utilize these notes right next to each other in the scale. And as you hear, the piano sounds a lot different because we half timed it. I'm going to do Control B and copy that over. Pull up another Nexus, and Flint Beats tend to use really experimental dark sounds, so I'm gonna go into Fantasy and Dream and go to Chill Zone. I believe it is 2. I think this was used in one of Y&J songs. I believe it was Coochie Scout. I'm gonna make a minor chord. And what they like to do with this too is they highlight over this with Control, hold Shift and drag this over. They like to make a bounce with it, and they also like to play with key they put it on. So I'm gonna do the +5 trick, which is gonna automatically land it in scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shift up arrow. It's already sounding flinty already. Highlight from the 2 with right click and drag it over to the 1, and then do Control B 3 times. I'm gonna add in a bell again. I'm gonna go into this Tubular bell again. This is my favorite Tubular bell out of the Lunch 77. Everyone in 808 Mafia shows a screen kit. And these bells are a lot more active in these Flint Beats. So I'm going to create a bell pattern. Actually, going to turn the bell down a little bit with this knob. Play around with the octaves right here. I'm going to control left click over these notes, and I'm going to do Control up arrow. I might actually leave this last one out and just have the bell kind of play throughout here. Down a bass piano. Now with the Flint Beats, they kind of have a faster bass pattern. I'm gonna go into the Nexus grand piano and take the reverb off. I'm gonna go to piano roll, and I'm going to I'm actually not gonna switch notes on this. I'm not gonna use any of these. They usually tend to stay on the same note. I'm just gonna do this triple pattern right here as you would do for 808. And I'm going to make the velocities go all the way to the max. So I'm going to hold Control and left click over this, and I'm going to hold Alt and scroll up. And I'm going to put this down into the second octave using Control down arrow 3 times. I'm going to drag from the 2 with right click all the way to the 1, and I'm going to do Control B 3 times. Now Now this is where the sauce comes in. Find a spins 808 again. This one right here, and go to the out knob and make it faster by putting this out knob, make it tighter. Now it's a lot faster, and then use this EQ knob. You could also use the boost knob too, but use this EQ knob and boost the low end a little bit. And then make sure you have cut itself on, and then just honestly follow the bass notes. Then do Control up arrow 3 times, put them in the 5th octave. Snare. I like this lick season snare right here. I'm going to go into the piano roll, and I'm going to place it in a higher octave, right on the 2 and the 4. I'm going to hold right click and drag to the 1, and then paste this over 3 times with Control B. So I'm going to do Shift D. I'm also going to play with the octaves of the hi-hats too, so I'm going to Shift and press up arrow until I find an octave I like. I'm going to go to half step and create some rolls. That sounds good. I'm going to delete this half and then just paste the first half over. I'll hold right click and go to and press Control B. Paste it over. I'm also going to do Alt R to randomize the velocities. I'm gonna get an OpenHat, probably the Sony hi-hat right here. Probably gonna make that hat or OpenHat a little bit shorter too. They contain a 4-bar switch up. So I'm going to clone this pattern right here, right click and press clone. And we're going to change a little bit. I'm going to make this pattern a little bit more active. Duplicate this chord like right here. Just make another chord right in the middle. Put my grid back on step so it's not sliding off key or off beat. I'm gonna do Alt R to randomize these velocities. I'm actually gonna go back in the first pattern and change some stuff so it's not so active. I'm going to delete this middle bell right here. I'm also going to randomize the velocities on this pad because I forgot to at first. bass note pattern, and I'm gonna do 2 more, but I'm gonna I'm gonna make the velocities go all the way up by controlling left clicking and then doing Alt scroll wheel up. I'm also gonna do the +5 the +5 sauce, just to make it be in key without even really having to do anything, just a +5 trick. I'm actually gonna make the velocity a little farther down because that's kind of hard. I'm gonna delete this and then copy these over by using Control B. And right there I did right click and dragged over to the 1. I messed with the 808s a little bit. Messed with the velocity too a little bit. Using Alt scroll wheel. Following the bass notes down here, which if I do control down arrow, I'm on key. Delete these and then just do Control B 3 times. I'm gonna double click on any of these rectangles. I'm gonna go into the mixer. I'm gonna go on the first channel and do Control Shift L. Or you could also do it manually by right clicking and do channel routing and route selected channels starting from this track, or Control Shift L. And I'm going to hold Control, highlight over these, and scroll down, level these down. I'm going to level these as they go. I forgot to add, a lot of the time Flint Beats do not have a kick, they just contain a hard hitting 808. With your 808, make sure you merge it 100% by taking this down to the purple. I'm going to solo these one by one and EQ them by doing Control and clicking on any of these circles right here. I'm going to throw an EQ on here. Again, like I said in the Detroit tutorial, 40 by 18 is the same thing as what my preset is. EQ all the melodies. These are actual sounds that industry producers use, so they're pre-mixed. You really don't need to mix these all too much. And it's fine if your 808 is going above 0. You just kind of got to play it by ear, as long as you have a soft clipper on the master. split both of these patterns by a channel. And for the second pattern, I'm going to left click on the first pattern, or left click on the first pattern in the pattern, and then do shift click down at the last, and hold or press right click to randomize color, just so I know which pattern's which. And for these Flint beats, it's actually pretty straightforward to lay these out. All you do is just have an intro period with no drums. I'm going to click on the first pattern, click on the last pattern and the first pattern, and just drag it on. And then the same thing, I'm just going to hold shift, click down here as well. Switch up right there, and you can paste this over one more time. And usually what I like to do after the first 4-bar switch up is do a little breakdown period. So take out the snare and hi-hat and make this 808 pattern unique by pressing this icon and then doing make unique. Then delete all these by doing Control X, and you're basically going to still want to follow the bass notes, but make kind of like a breakdown pattern. I do this by ear. Do Control L to elongate these. Control B 3 times. And paste it over 2 times. Add my tag onto there.
Donnie made this.
Go into the mixer, do Control L, and then just load my tag.
Donnie made this.
And you should be all set with the beat.
Donnie made this.